Now, if you look at this one here, so this is when he has. Let's go to the first the clever speed. The peak speed occurs here. So from here to here, this is backswing, and this is midpoint here. Yeah, it's on the right side here. And the time is similar to yours. Okay. And then go to the frontal plane action here. So he has a push about here. And then after that, from here, unweighting starts. Unweighting increases continuously all the way to this here. At this point, he has a really long momentum because you see, his force is, he has a good unweighting here. The force magnitude is not that large, but it has a large horizontal component here. So it inclines like this, so his momentum is really long here. So he has a large amount of torque at the beginning of the downswing.
Now, was this after working with you?
No, this was 2015 when we initially started. I started working with different people. So at one point we had a bunch of instructors here, so we tried to do the demonstration, and then at that time we captured his swing, and then his swing was already pretty good at that point. So good unweighting here. Because with unweighting, he can push hard here. In order to push hard, you must have a good unweighting. That means you have to drop your body. You have to let your body drop, and then your left knee is bent so that you can push the ground. Okay, so he has a long momentum and then large torque. Yours is about less than half, but he is generating this much torque. This is elite man's average maximum, but he's already generating that much torque at the beginning of the downswing. That means he can actively accelerate early on. Yeah. And then his peak force occurs about here, when the club is vertical, when the center of mass is at low point here. And then if you look at his pelvis motion, so right turn and the left turn, these are fairly balanced here. Continuous lateral tilt. And then at impact, left side is higher than the right side. This is up and down motion. So gradually lowering the pelvis and then moving it up, it goes above the initial position. If you look at the away toward the motion, it's like away motion up to this point and then recentering here, and then continuous motion toward the target. So his pelvis motion is a lot cleaner because he has more leg-driven, active, body-driven swing here. And then X factor. So this is the end of pelvis rotation or pelvis transition point. This is the top of backswing. You see, still the X factor keeps increasing. Kinematic sequence. So he has a longer transition phase, and these are well spaced sequentially. And then wrist angular velocity. He has more wrist cocking. Wrist cocking velocity increases, and then uncocking starts here when the lead arm is about here. Coming down about here, he starts uncocking. Delayed release here. And then the peak angular velocity of the pelvis is right at the center of the backswing, not early here. The reason why you have early peaks is because you are spinning. Quick early spinning, and then from that point on, slow motion here. But in his case, let's take a look at his stick figure here. So his body is more turning about the spine axis. So this goes high up, and then the trunk is not leaning away. And then look at this, from here, unweighting here, and then push. So in order to reprogram the swing, you first have to work on how you interact with the ground, because that's the foundation.
Right.
You have to first work on the foundation and then add these technical things. So you need to use the ground really well here. So this gives a very different pattern here.
You see most amateurs, I mean, consider myself a decent player, but do you see most amateurs not use the ground as much as they should?
Right. Yeah, I should say yes. That's the case.
Okay.
Yeah. So if we have 100%, then typical golfers may use maybe 70%. My subjective assessment, but most people use around 70% of their ability. So depending on the movement pattern, you can change the whole thing. If you change your movement pattern, and you use the lower body better, then it just changes the things completely.
Helps you get in a better position coming in here for attack.
So instead of try to use the upper body, smaller muscles, you have to use the whole body. Okay, so this is something I use as a sort of model pattern. Is he the best player in the world? No, it's not the case. But I see many positive aspects in his swing in terms of mechanics.
Right.
But still, we do have that, the feel of the golfer,
Well,
the
there's
golfer's
a lot of
ability
other
to
things
control
that go
things,
into
right? Yeah.
producing low scores.
Yeah, and also in
winning.
terms of score, it has multi dimensions. So it's not just about one shot, but you have to have of course management and things like that. So, but I use this as the model. So when you have something to compare against, then it's a lot easier to see your strength and weakness. So now, this is the speed and the time here. So Dave's swing is a bit faster, so he's using less time. So this is about 900 milliseconds. So overall swing is faster. And also in terms of peak peak velocity of the club
What you're looking
is more toward the top of backspin here. This is what I expect. And then still your speed is not as high as the elite man's average here. So it's 103, about 104.
For my age comparison.
No, this is including young professional players.
Oh,
So
so then I should be okay. Happy.
yeah, you should be happy. And then, but for your height, you are generating as much speed as elite man, because you are relatively short compared to most active golfers. But for your height, you are generating good speed here, reasonable speed. And then top view here. So the hand motion plane is more aligned toward the target. Your club head, the swing plane is slightly outward, but it's the difference is a lot less here, about 2 degrees. Okay, and then so this is reasonable. This is reasonable. And the swing plane here, your swing plane is also a bit steep.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's passing above this point. This is called the mid trunk point, but it's passing above. Usually it goes slightly below this on the average. It's a slightly steeper. And so you are starting from a flat backswing here, and then go to this position, and then coming down here. But in terms of club motion, this is a lot simpler than yours. You intentionally have a layoff here. Layoff, then you pull the handle down. But in this one,
There's a little over the top up there at the apex.
Yes,
That backswing.
yeah, but you are using these muscles here, go here, and then try to bring this down, so it's okay. But and also these are fairly not much deviated from the swing plane. Okay, on the average, the hands and club head in driver condition deviates from the swing plane about 20 centimeters. That means about 8 inches, above the swing plane. But in this case, because swing plane is a bit steep, so these are not deviated that much, so that's okay. And then on the way down, is gradually coming down here. So still from here to the horizontal, you have fairly planar motion here. So we don't see any surprise here. It's just a simple. In terms of shape, the swing motion really simple. Simple swing is the good swing. But when you have a lot of off-plane motion, then the swing motion becomes quite complex. You
But
intentionally
still,
drop it.
I should be flatter.
In this one, yeah, your swing plane, if your swing plane goes here, then it'll be perfect. And then for that, at the top, if you intentionally lay off the head a little bit.
That what our wrists that we've been working on.
Yeah, if you
Are
drop
you
it a little.
familiar with a swing trainer called Hack Motion? It's a measures wrist stuff. Do you have an opinion of it? You don't like it?
The main motion is coming from this
From your forearm.
forearm, the pronation supination here.
Okay.
You have this much range of motion here.
All right.
You have this much range of motion. You have this much range of motion, over 300 degrees,
Right.
almost 360 degrees. You have a lot of motion here, but that is only measuring the wrist motion here. It can give you the information about your wrist orientation,
Right.
but that does not give the whole picture of what's happening in the forearm and wrist on the swing plane.
Because we've been using that on me, trying, and I could get my wrists in good position going back, but then here down, my wrists start, it
Drop.
registers going this way a lot, and then I get this, but it was irritating.
Yeah, so it gives the wrist orientation information,
Right.
but it does not give you anything about this motion here. So it's limited.
For me, it was frustrating, because I'm trying to,
So, but don't worry about too much about the wrist orientation. The goal is to throw the club head through where the ball is, right? So let it go here. And then you may have a little bit different wrist position. Who cares?
okay,
Because what matters is the club head motion, and then whole arm, and then club motion here. So you have a lot of motion here. So this does not give
not
enough
exactly.
information.
This
So-
is more-
So when I see those advertised, this has a lot more range of motion.
okay,
Anyways, so now your swing plane is 47 degrees, slope is 47 degrees, and your hand motion plane is 51 degrees, so you only have about what, 4-degree difference? It's because your swing plane is a bit steep. Usually between the swing plane and your hand motion plane, we have about 9-degree difference across the club conditions. So, but you have a lot less difference. It's because your swing plane is steeper. So, and then particularly, Dave, in your case, try to use the pronation supination using this motion here. Then let it go through. If you use this motion here, it's stuck here. But if you swing through using the supination of the forearm, then you'll be able to continue that motion all the way here.
and I should be thinking,
Yeah. So that way, actually, you have a lot more natural motion in the wrist. You're using large range of motion here, and also larger muscle is involved here. than this one here. When you do use this a lot, you develop elbow problem, tendonitis here,
Issues there.
and also pain in the wrist because it's stuck here. But in order to overcome that, you actually swing through this way here. You don't have any problem in the wrist. So, and then center of mass motion here. Now,
Totally different than yours.
so your center of mass is not moving away that much. So that means you also have a spinning motion.
It's not this.
And then also you're not dropping enough. So it has,
That would make sense if you're not going. If you're spinning, you're not dropping, right?
yeah.
Okay.
And also if you look at your posture here, you're sliding the pelvis this way here. So left hip is outside the vertical line. That means you are sliding this way a bit too much.
Okay.
So it just slides flat here, rather than this goes up here and then diagonally going down and then going up here. So this motion is over about 15 centimeters or 6 inches from here to here. But emphasize more vertical motion, the going like this.
So that's similar with John, as far as using the leg.
Yeah. So at the beginning of the backswing, see.
There's nothing.
So the body is leaning, and we don't see much action in the pelvis because you're spinning, and then hip is moving backward.
Okay.
So then overall the pelvis is sticking out this way. The upper body is leaning away.
That's amazing.
Then look at on the way down. Initially, you are opening your body, opening the body, and then try to.
Yeah. And that's
Look at this.
right. And we know that. For me, I'd say for 40 years I've had it, but I didn't know. And so my body, I think, adjusted to be a good player with this issue. And we've been looking at video going, how are we going to, how do we fix that?
So what happens is, as we saw in the motion here, from here, initially you are turning this way, and then
Right.
dropping right side. But again, let's make it simple. So this is swing plane here. Just to go up and in one motion, just to throw here, turning about the spine axis in one motion. So kick and then bring this high up. Yeah, stand on the right side, and then throw and then stand on the left side. You have to dance and then make motion as simple as possible. And then ultimately you are throwing the end point here. Okay? Using the momentum here, and let it go and throw, and then particularly when you have this motion, then you cannot go this way here. Yeah, when you try to pull this here, but if you swing through, let it go, swing and then let it go this way, then your left lead arm will be better extended. So that's why we need to work on the release aspect.
Right.
So and then
That's one of the big reasons, being here to figure out what we can do.
and then the pelvis motion here. Ooh, look at this. So you're not rotating enough in the backswing,
Okay.
and then, but generally you are not rotating, that much both ways. But still, these are reasonably balanced, so that's okay. And also, this is continuous. The lateral tilt is also continuous here. That pattern is good, and the left side is going higher at impact. But the main problem is this green line, which is away and toward the motion. You are not going away much. Okay, it's just going toward. And then this vertical motion here, up and down motion, is almost just staying here.
It's just staying.
Yeah. You don't have much up and down motion.
There's not.
It's because at the beginning of the downswing, your initial motion is just opening the body here. Instead of,
leaning.
so
leaning
go
in
up here and then drop here and then let it go. Kicking. Instead, you chose to do
and
this and then,
then this.
so again, if we look at the
That
stick
makes
figure,
sense.
yeah, initially you're opening, and then the left leg is bent like this. And then in the frontal view, if you look at the posture here, so go up here, and then early on, it's just opening the shoulder here, opening the body,
Instead of driving.
and then
Yeah.
look at this. So you need to feel the weight of the end point here, and then let it go. Developing speed here and using that, let it go instead of
Right.
intention to use your arms and try to hit the ball. You have to develop good speed here and then let it go so that the left arm is supinating like this, following that motion here, instead of keep pulling. And then,
I wonder if that's. I'm trying to think if that's due to. I played in Hawaii. I played in Okinawa. With wind, and kind of driving.
you try to
driving-
hit down a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. And then this is X factor. It's reasonably continuous here, and it keeps increasing all the way to here. The peak occurs here. Let me bring the power supply, because we're going through both the views. So it's Vincent, you don't have to be here. You've seen most of it, so
That looks like a mess right there.
He was just saying, so part of my swing looks pretty good, part of it just looks like shit.
Aquaquanda. Yeah, it's something to work with. Yes.
okay. So let's see. Yeah, it's an awkward posture. But in terms of X factor here, it keeps a slight change in the slope here, but this is pretty good, continuation all the way here. And then the peak occurs about here, so this is good. Kinematic sequence is better, obviously. So this is the transition sequence, pelvis, and then thorax and shoulders. And then now these are clustered, and then the arms and club are also a bit clustered here. But at least we have good separation between the pelvis and these here. And then if we look at the angular velocity, now the pelvis peak is not as early as yours. So it's about here, not exactly half point, but it's relatively late, so this is good. And then again, you need to increase this more here, the wrist angular velocity, so that this can go up here.
And that's the casting.
This you also have a tendency of early release here, but here it's staying close to zero. So that means you are pretty much maintaining that angle. You're not going more, in the cocking, but fairly maintaining it and then letting it go here. So it's not too bad.
Okay.
But because on the way down you're going this way and then
Then you lose
stuck here,
Then you lose
you have to let it go, swing through here. Then you can really use the pronation, supination motion here.
Okay.
Because this has a wide range of motion, you have to use this to generate the speed. And then in the downswing, the pelvis peak angular velocity is a bit delayed. And this is because I think you are shifting the pelvis too much
To
this way
sliding.
here. Yeah. And but the bottom line is you really need to use your wrist, or actually the forearm
The
here,
forearm.
and then increase
And
this
then
here.
those will get closer.
Yeah. Imagine if you increase this more, if it goes a bit more, then your cleavage speed will be a lot faster. You have a lot. The positive side is you have a lot of room there. Yeah. And then in the frontal plane here, so let's go to the fourth arrow. So in the backswing here, and then yeah, you have a more time here.
Slide again.
So the center of pressure is already moved this way quite a bit. If you will recall Grant Wade's case, the center pressure was still here, but with a good inclination of the arrow, he generated long momentum. But in your case, it's already moving to the lead side
So
here.
his moment arm is reasonably long as a result of sliding his hips a lot.
And this is delayed here. The longest momentum should occur right at top of action here. So at the top of action, because you are still in unweighting here, so instead of using force and magnitude, you are using momentum to generate large torque at that point. But because your longest momentum occurs a lot later here, delayed, because of this, you have to wait until the center pressure actually starts shifting to the leader flow.
Shifts back.
Yeah. So although it's reasonably long here, but it's delayed quite a bit. And then you have a peak value here in terms of torque. But then from here to here, you don't have much torque. This at the beginning of the downswing to this point, you don't have that much here. But because we have a limited runway here from the end of the backswing to impact here you have to accelerate it well,
Major.
right? So in order to, for the plane to lift,
And that's that.
yeah, so you have to activate the muscle early here, using that generate the speed early on. Using that speed, when you let it go, then it's a continuation of motion here. But because you try to put effort later, so
And we're starting that acceleration with here. We're getting here and then.
just the body here, and then image that you have a wire with the weight attached here. That instead of pulling the wire this way here, then you're putting a lot of effort after the impact. Rather, image that the wire is running this way. So the weight is behind you here. You're pulling the wire this way here. So that means you have to activate muscles early on, right? So another way nowadays, the strategy I use is that image that you have a drum on your right side. So on the way down, you are hitting the drum here, instead of having the drum on this side. So if you want to hit this drum hard here, then you have to have good early action here, and then boom, and then continue this motion, instead of putting a lot of effort on this side here. So you have to activate this early, and then increase the speed. Using that speed, and then let it go, throw it, let it go, instead of near the impact to try to force it here. Then it's a little bit too
And
late.
you think the slide, do you think that little pelvic slide makes this go like this?
No, I think it's your effort of hitting the ball with your muscles.
Okay.
That's why. Okay. So if you develop speed and using the speed you are letting it go, then this happens here. But if you try to hit it with the muscles here, pull like this, and then automatically when this goes here, then
In generating that speed where you let it go, what exactly is doing that? Is it your,
so let's look at the acceleration here.
okay,
You have a maximum acceleration of the club head about here on the way down
okay.
in terms of
So
acceleration.
Is any of that happening from release?
No. If you do this, then you can have early development of velocity, but later you don't have that
Right.
much velocity. So, and then the muscular effort,
So your arms and hands are basically going along for the ride.
The
from
body,
what your lower
yeah.
body's doing.
so your maximum muscular effort in these muscles here, that happens about here. So from here to here, and then eventually, when this goes here, then the club head has a maximum acceleration. Acceleration decreases, and then near the impact or slight after impact, acceleration becomes zero. Zero acceleration means a peak speed. So your speed becomes peak here, but actual acceleration occurs here. That means your effort should be picked
Right there.
early on here. But nowadays in modern golf,
And that's core effort, not,
yeah, in modern golf, there's a tendency of going here and then try to put a lot of effort on this side here. It's too late.
It's already done.
So yeah, you are waving your for a taxi after it already passed by.
yeah. I mean, I've read where Jack Nicklaus claimed that, as soon as he started down, he was releasing, he said, I didn't feel like I could release the club soon enough, that I was,
So the
as long
image,
as I was moving to my left.
the image working really well is having a drum on the right side here, and then try to hit the drum on the way down. That means you have to activate this early, and then try to hit here, and then by the time you reach here, you have maximum speed here. But because we have a tendency of late activation here, so having the image of a drum on this side.
Well, I can't tell you how many
And
times
also,
I've read about
now
late
also,
release. You want a
now
late
also
release.
I use this pumping action, using the body action, and then throwing the end here. Instead of letting it go here, using the body, swing through. The bottom line is that this has to happen. Let it go here, so that you have a good extended arm here, and then let it go. Instead of try to hit it this way, then always you have chicken wing. So this is some the issues in the modern golf instruction, and you have many bad images. Yeah, but and then your peak force is also delayed here, and it's late here, and then not much here. It's because, as you can see, as you saw in the upward motion of the up down motion of the pelvis, you did not have much up down motion. Yeah. So just open and then pull this
So
through.
A rotation on the same.
And is that like seeing how much bend there is in his leg, basically?
So
There's no pushing
that
up
extra
or
boost is
posting
coming
up.
from the lead leg action. But in order to have good lead leg action, you have to let the lead leg bend a little bit so that you can push the ground hard. So for that, you have to drop your body. And the easiest way to let the body drop is, first you have a good push here. Good push, and after that, let it drop. If you don't have a good push and then try to let it drop, you intentionally have to sit down here, right? But you have good push and then let it drop, and then kick. So you have to have a good up and down motion. If the knee goes slightly outward, is not a good idea. So Unless almost it's like this. So you're standing here, and then by turning, if you go here, then this is fairly upright. This is in the frontal view. This also looks fairly straightened. So your pelvis is going this way. This instead of going backward here. Yeah, like that. Yeah, you have to lift the shoulder up. So bring the shoulder higher, then the hip will go also higher.
So, like, is that high enough, or are we talking about?
You can do that, and then but that shoulder motion is not coming from this here, but by using the leg action, you are turning the shoulder here.
Okay.
Yes. By pushing the ground and then standing tall here, your shoulder is also turning like this instead of just intentionally trying to turn the shoulder. Yeah. So if you do the initial part of the backswing well, a lot of things change.
A lot of things change.
And then on the way down is all about just releasing it, letting it go. So when you swing things, the key is you have to let the end point just to go instead of drag it here. So instead of pulling this and dragging, you just throw it. Develop good speed here, using that speed and let it go instead of dragging it through the impact.
You're going to show us how to do some of that. Well, I just want to make sure. I mean, I understand it watching it. Conceptually, like watching you show other people in your other videos.
Feel something.
But it's like
Dave
learning
here.
what it feels like to do it right.
Yeah, Dave here.
So I can replicate.
You have push here. Backswing push about here is not much. The timing is also a bit early. This is 2, which is when the club is aligned horizontally. You have a peak force before that. But this has to be either at 2 or after. Okay? So no need to, quickly push this, but rather using the body motion, keep pushing here. As I mentioned earlier, as if you are angry toward the end of backswing. So that you keep pushing and then turning here instead of an early action and then going easy here. So then, when you have good push, then you will have good unweighting here. So you need to have a lot more. A lot more unweighting here at top of action, and then with that good push here, and also early push here, because you don't have a good unweighting here, so you cannot push the ground hard. So again, in order to push hard here, you have to have a good unweighting here. In order to have good unweighting, you have to have a good push here. So everything starts with the initial interaction with the ground using the right leg.
And if you're just rotating or sliding, you're not getting any of that.
So these are the things I see here. And I have to capture this image. This is an interesting posture here.
Yes. And I can still play good golf with that. But that's what I want to do is get better.
So his strength, he's a really, really good putter in short game. And that saves him, that allows him to score. He drives the ball pretty well and pretty accurately most of the time, but I feel like for a player that scores as well as he does and plays as well in tournaments as he does, his iron play is really weak.
When you were hitting the ball, so you had a tendency of pulling so slightly going left all the way here. It's because you try to influence the impact through the impact here. But at impact, impact you have to let the club head go.
Trust. And once I get that, then this will be better.
I think